Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. My name is Atif. I am a physics teacher. Today I am going to deliver a lecture to grade 9 students. Lecture number 3, unit number 3, dynamics. Lesson number 3.3, friction. Today my topic is friction. Please open your books. Page number 72, article number 3.3. These are the main objectives of this lesson. Number 1, what is friction? Number 2, how does friction act? Number 3, why friction opposes the motion? Number 4, limiting friction. Number 5, rolling and sliding friction. Number 6, advantages and disadvantages of friction. Number 7, reducing friction. Okay. Now I will explain one by one. Please concentrate on my lecture. Inshallah, you will understand every point easily. Okay. So let me start with the first point. What is friction? It is defined as the force which opposes the motion of moving body is called friction. It means it stops the moving objects. Okay. Now there is a question, how friction acts. Friction is a force that comes into action as soon as body is pushed or pulled over a surface. But in case of solids, friction depends upon two factors. Understand? Number 1, nature of two surfaces in contact. Number 2, pressing force between them. Here, the nature of surfaces means either the bodies are rough or smooth. You know, rough surfaces offer more friction, but smooth surfaces offer less friction. But if you want to check which surface offer more friction, rub your palm against different types of surfaces. For example, table, marble floor, or brick, etc. You will find that it is easier to move on a smooth surface. Now, pressing force. When you apply a force on a body with the help of your palm in the downward direction, okay, it is known as pressing force. If you increase the pressing force, the friction will be increased. If you decrease the pressing force, the friction will be decreased. Understand? It means pressing force is directly proportional to friction. Let us see how friction acts. If the box is placed on the table, if we are pushing the box in the right direction, the force of friction will act towards the left. Okay. It means opposite to your force. But if we apply the force along the left, then the force of friction will act towards the right. Okay, see here, the frictional force opposes your applied force. Understand? So maybe you'll get the answer here. That means how friction act. Clear? And how friction opposes the applied force. Clear? Now there is another question. Why friction opposes the motion? It is very important question. The answer is that no surface is perfectly smooth. Every surface has pits and bumps as seen through microscope. So these are the pits and bumps. So without the help of microscope, it is difficult for us to see these pits and bumps. Understand? So these pits and bumps are known as cold welds. See here, these are the cold welds. Clear? The other name of pits and bumps. Clear? Cold welds. Let us see how these cold welds produce friction. See here, this is the magnified view of cold welds. So when two bodies which are in contact with each other, cold welds of both surfaces tend to interlock with each other. See here, okay. Now when we try to move one of the body on the surface of the other body, okay, this interlocking of cold welds opposing the motion. See here, they are opposing the motion. Clear? And you know, this opposing force is a friction. Clear? Now see here, this is the applied force and this is the force of friction. Clear? So you know that the force of friction is always opposite to the applied force. So therefore, these cold welds, basically they are responsible for the friction. Understand? Okay. Now, force of limiting friction. The maximum value of friction is known as force of limiting friction. It is denoted by Fs. Clear? Basically, the force of friction is related to applied force. If we draw a graph between applied force and the force of friction, please look at this graph. See here, this is the graph. If you increase the applied force, okay, this is applied force. If you increase the applied force, the force of friction will also increase. Clear? Now, and reaches the maximum value. See, this is the maximum value. Clear? It doesn't increase beyond this value. Clear? So this maximum value is called force of limiting friction. Understand? Now coefficient of friction. The force of limiting friction is proportional to normal reaction R. Okay, so what is normal reaction? Okay, actually normal is also called perpendicular. Clear? And you know perpendicular means 90 degree. So how can you feel normal force or normal reaction? Okay, when you sit on the chair, your weight is acting downward and the reaction of the chair is upward. This is a normal reaction. Clear? And this normal reaction is always equal and opposite to the weight. Clear? Now, Fs is directly proportional to R. What is directly proportional? It means if R increases, Fs increases. If R decreases, Fs will be decreased. Understand? Now this proportionality is changed to constant. Clear? This constant is mu. Fs is equal to mu R. Clear? And you know R is equal to mg. What is mg? Mg is a weight, where m is the mass and g is the gravity. What is the value of gravity? Yes, 10 meter per second square. Now, Fs is equal to mu mg, where mu is equal to Fs over R. So, mu is the ratio of force of limiting friction, Fs, to the normal reaction R. Understand? Because you know that, it has no unit. Why it has no unit? Because it is a ratio of two forces. And what is the unit of force? Newton. Yes, very good. Now we will discuss rolling and sliding friction. There is a question, why rolling friction is less than sliding friction? Or you can say, why the sliding friction is always larger than rolling friction? Understand? Okay. Now we will explain. I will explain this with the help of these two diagrams. Okay. See here. This is a rolling friction and this is sliding friction. The rolling friction is between the rolling body. see here, this is the wheel. Wheel is the rolling body and the ground. But sliding friction is the friction between the sliding body and the ground. Here, the point of contact, this is the point of contact between rolling wheel and the ground is very small. See here, it is very small. But here, the point of contact is very large, okay, between the sliding body and the ground. The wheel rolls over the surface without rupturing the cold wares. You know, these are the cold wares, these are the cold wares. Without rupturing mean without breaking. Understand? Clear? So without rupturing the cold wares. So rolling friction is very less. But here, you know, the point of contact is very large between the sliding body and the earth, clear, or ground. So the cold wares the resistance of cold wares is too much. That means they produce too much friction, clear. So the sliding friction is a larger friction, but rolling friction is not a larger friction. Okay, it is very less as compared to sliding friction. Clear? Hence, sliding friction, you know, is larger than the rolling friction. Let us see the video. Okay, that means in this video you can get how rolling friction is less than the sliding friction. See here. Let us see the place this box, okay, on the table. Understand? Now if you pull this box with the help of spring balance, see, this is spring balance, the box is sliding. Now look at the reading on the spring balance, it's 800 Newton. Now place the pencils parallel on the table and place the box on the pencils. Again pull the box with the help of spring balance. Now check the reading, it's almost 400 Newton. That means half of the value of the sliding friction. Okay, so from this experiment, okay, you can see the rolling friction is very less than the sliding friction, or you can say the sliding friction is very larger than the rolling friction. Clear? Now braking and skidding. The wheel of moving vehicles have two velocity components. Okay, the velocity components, that means x component and y component, inshallah I will explain in the next chapter. Okay, now here it has two components. Number one, motion of wheel along the road. Number two, rotation of wheels about their axis. So when we apply the brakes, the rotation of wheels is going to decrease. Similarly, the motion of wheel along the road will also decrease. Okay, clear? Now, but when the brakes are applied too strongly, the wheels of car lock up. Okay, now see here, this is a diagram. Sorry, this is a figure, and the tires of this car, they are locked up. The rotation of wheels is stopped and the car will be skidding due to its large momentum, and it loses its directional control. That may result in an accident. Understand? Let us see how car skids. See here. Now the driver applied the brakes and the car is skidding. Clear? The wet road also reduces the friction. Look at this video. The road is wet and the car is skidding. Clear? The car will also skid if tires are worn out. That means if the threading is not good. Clear? Similarly, there is another example. if you apply the brakes to stop your bicycle, the wheels of your bicycle stops rolling and begins to slide. Okay, and you know already sliding friction is much greater than the rolling friction. See here, you applied the brakes, now it begins to skid. See, clear? Yes. Now there is a question, how to avoid skidding? Clear? By threading on tires as it improves the road grip. See here, this is the threading of the tire. Okay, and by not applying brakes strongly. Clear? So these are the two main points. Clear? Now we will discuss about advantages and disadvantages of friction. Okay, so we start with the advantages of friction. Without friction, it is difficult for us to move, to walk, clear, to sit, clear. So friction is a necessity for us. Without friction, it is difficult to write. Okay, so friction is not good for you because it helps to write. Clear? Now, the birds cannot fly if there is no air friction. Clear? Now there are some disadvantages of friction. It reduces the speed of moving objects. How? When the car is moving, there are two types of frictions. Number one, the air friction. Number two, the road friction. Okay, both frictions reduce the speed of the car. Okay, most of our useful energy is lost as heat and sound. Clear? It's a big disadvantage. Number three, friction cause wear and tear the moving parts of machine. So this is not good. Clear? Now, the methods of reducing friction. Number one, lubricating the sliding surfaces. Number two, making sliding surfaces smooth. Number three, using ball bearings or roller bearings. Number four, streamlined body shapes. See here, this is the ball bearing. Clear? Why we use the ball bearing? To reduce the friction. Very good. And see here, this is the streamlined shape. Okay, how it helps to reduce the friction. Okay, it is easily moved through the air. Clear? So this is my lecture. Now I'm going to review of my lecture. Okay, today you learned about friction. You know what is friction? It is opposing force. And how does it act? When you apply the force, it is opposite to your applied force. Clear? And why friction opposes motion? Because of cold welds. There are some cold welds you can see through microscope. Okay, they opposes the motion. Limiting friction. It is a maximum friction. Clear? Rolling and sliding friction. The rolling friction, the point of contact is very small, but in sliding friction, the point of contact is larger between two bodies. So in rolling friction, the body rolls over the surface without rupturing the cold welds. But in sliding friction, the cold welds produce resistance, friction. Okay. Now, advantages and disadvantages of friction. Advantages, you can ride, you can sit, you can walk with the help of friction, and the birds, they can fly with the help of air friction. But the disadvantages of friction, uh, it is that means sorry the speed that reduces the speed of the car, and the energy loss. Okay, it also produces the energy loss. Clear? Now, methods of reducing friction. Clear? And how can you reduce the friction? So this is my article. Now this is the assignment for you. Short question, page number 82 and 83. Question number 3.14, 3.15, 3.16, 3.17, 3.19. These are short questions and you can write, okay, on your copy. And numerical problem, only one problem regarding friction. It is 3.9, page number 83. Okay. I hope you got the idea about friction very well. Now, if you have any question to be asked, you can ask in your respective WhatsApp groups. Question answer session will be open in all WhatsApp groups. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Take care. Okay.